Hey, fellow garage golfers, rolling here with Garage Golf, where we provide extraordinary golf info for the extraordinary golfer. Looking forward to talking to our good buddies at Fiberbuilt today, and we're going to be speaking with Mike Vescio over there at Fiberbuilt, and we're going to ask him some questions about some different things that we've seen in the golf simulator industry, and specifically in regards to golf hitting mats. So, looking forward to meeting up with Mike, asking them some questions about some of their products, what they would recommend for certain circumstances, including best new entry, best entry level mat, and their best overall selling hitting mat as well. So let's go ahead and jump into that interview and get on there with Mike and see if we can get some of our questions answered. All right, fellow garage golfers, so I'm here with Mike from Fiberbuilt, and we're going to talk to Mike a little bit more today about some of their products, some of their top things that they see going on with our golf simulator market right now as far as what they're doing on their end. How you doing today, Mike?
Roland, I am doing fantastic here at the virtual 2021 PGA show. Never better. Pumped, ready to go for the season. How are you?
Doing good. We talked a little bit about the whole virtual experience and having to adjust to that, and even my camera froze. So if it freezes again, we'll have to figure it out. But a little bit of technology issues aside, it's been a pretty successful show, I think, overall.
Yep, absolutely. Completely concur. It's great to be able to, even virtually, still connect with some of the people that we've had workings with throughout the entirety of last year. Again, even virtually, it's just great to see smiling faces and chat with people about what 2021 is going to bring.
I think we all agree, though. I look forward to hopefully being back in person in 2022. So we'll see how that goes. But
Absolutely,
good,
absolutely.
good. So speaking of COVID-19, all these things that we've been going through, obviously, we've seen like a huge explosion on our side of people that we've helped in golf simulator stuff, including seeing products that are back ordered and delayed and different things of that nature. Has that been something that you guys have experienced as well with your turf company and the mats and everything that you guys do?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely experienced a huge demand throughout the entirety of last year for individuals looking to finally pull the trigger on implementing a golf simulator or something along those lines in their residences, frankly, as well on commercial applications as well in pro shops and
Yeah.
the like. As I think people with any type of restrictions that may have been in the required in their areas, they're finally ready to pull the trigger and bring the golf course to them.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yes,
When things started getting shut down, I mean, the popularity of golf simulators in general, because they're so affordable now. Before you couldn't get one under 50,000, and now you can buy one,
oh,
starting at $500 on up. So these things are really exploding, and to do that, you got to partner with a really good mat, and you guys have always been one of my top favorite mat companies because you have the safety issue of being able to hit a natural golf shot without having to worry about hurting your wrists and hurting your shoulders and things over time, on these inferior mats. So I always tell people never skimp on the golf mat. That's the number one thing because that's the one you're using every single shot. That's going to be the thing that protects you, and you guys have always been one of my favorites. So I wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit about some of your products that you guys have. If there's anything in general that maybe you'd like to go over. I'd like to see kind of what you would suggest maybe for what is your top selling mat overall? And then also, what would you say would be like your best entry level mat that you would suggest to people getting started? Maybe someone who just wants to set up a net in their garage to start with and have something that would be a good option for them from you guys at Fiberbuilt.
absolutely. No, that's fantastic. And one of the probably the most common inquiry that we do receive from an individual looking to purchase a golf mat for their home, for their basement, for their backyard, wherever, is that they have purchased, they're familiar with golf mats. They maybe already have an existing golf mat that they have purchased from somewhere else. And the common bit of feedback that we receive is that, the mat that they currently have, it hurts to hit from. They
Right.
try to hit dozens and dozens of balls, whether it's something that they've experienced from themselves or their doctor had said no more hitting balls
Right.
for a period of time, and so they're looking for something that is going to be significantly easier on their joints, but still will provide that realism that they would expect, from a good quality golf mat system. So I would say, going through into our website here, and as I go into our shop, all hitting mats here, we have all of the mats that we have available.
Okay.
Um, the most popular hitting mat we have in our lineup. And I'll say that I'll preface this by saying that everybody's application is different,
Hmm.
whether they are using it with a golf simulator or launch monitor, or whether they're using it simply with just hitting balls into a net.
Right.
But all things considered, the most popular golf mat that we have is going to be this system here. So that is the 9x4 center hitting golf mat system.
Okay.
This allows you to, of course, design for use with any of the radar-based launch monitors, where you would place that behind where the ball is being struck. And regardless of whether you have a lefty or righty, utilizing the mat system, you can essentially leave that Mevo Plus or the Flight Scope or the TrackMan system alone.
Yeah.
And so, with this system here, this is, like I said, probably one of the most popular hitting mats that we have across the board for pairing with a launch monitor. And, this is designed for use with the radar-based systems, but that doesn't mean that any of the optically based systems aren't compatible with it. So
Right.
if you do have some of the, maybe the SkyTrack, the GC2, the Quad, that can be placed beside where you're striking the ball. These turf surfaces are level with the striking area, so you can simply place that opposite where the ball is being struck, and you're good to go.
And because they're so heavy duty, you don't have the issues with the launch monitor like shaking or things when people hit, because those mats weigh a lot. I don't know. I don't have the exact weight of those mats, but I know that they weigh a lot with the rubber backing that they have now, the new things that you guys are doing. So it's a good quality mat, and it's not going to be sliding all over the place either. So a lot of people ask me, do I need to have like carpet tape? And sometimes you do. It just depends. But for the most part, my experience has been no. That mat's going to stay in place pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've definitely made some changes to our product lineup in the last few years. And we pride ourselves on having a very sturdy foundation in the hitting mats that we do offer. And so specifically with this 9x4 studio mat, with the overall weight of that system plus a golfer standing on it. Now, it's a given, of course, if you really wanted to move the mat and try to do so, I'm sure that you could. But with regular use, it's not something that we've experienced at all or had any feedback from.
Yeah,
so
same here.
Stay where you set it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. All right. So let's say that we got someone who just is getting started and they want to just kind of get an initial setup and they want to hit into a net. They only need right-handed only or left-handed only or whatever. What would you suggest as like an initial product for them? One of the things that I've suggested in the past, and I kind of would like to pick your brain on, is I kind of like the Fiberbuilt Flight Deck. That's kind of a cool product, I feel. I don't know the dimensions and if it's something that, have you found that it's something that people can easily hit driver on or not, or would they need to take a step up from there if they want to have a driver shot as well?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. So, specifically, we have two products here. We have our practice station and we have our flight deck. So just to get the terminology correct, the flight deck is the name for the Fiberbuilt grass surface that is used in the practice station.
Yeah.
You can absolutely purchase the flight deck on its own, but just know that due to the height of the hitting surface, we would recommend that you stand, prop yourself up in some way, 1¾ inches, 2 inches tall, to make sure that you are level with that striking area.
No, yeah, excuse my verbiage. I meant when I recommend it, I'm talking about the Fiberbuilt practice station, because I think it has a pretty secure rubber base to it, and it's all in one design. For people that just already have like a stance mat that they're just going to stand on, and they want something that is a good quality that they can hit down and through, I'll recommend the flight deck. But typically, if they want an all-in-one thing, I'll recommend that practice station.
Yeah, for the golfer that doesn't, that's coming from nothing, the Fiberbuilt practice station is going to be our most popular system here. So, I mean, it's coming complete with the rods as well. This is a really popular addition. The product does include these rods, and it's great for little drills. You can utilize them for a number of different tools to make sure that you are keeping your game as best as it can be. And so this hitting surface that we have, the flight deck, is made of the genuine Fiberbuilt grass. That's the same material that you can find on, for example, the 9x4 studio mat or the rest of the full-size hitting mats. So you're able to get that entire Fiberbuilt experience in a smaller footprint of a mat that definitely comes in at a lower price point.
Yeah. Do you happen to know the specifications of the distance between where the mat is and the end of the stance mat portion? Like I was saying, is this something that you can hit driver on? Because I'm not familiar with it. I saw it at the show last year, but I just don't remember offhand. So I wanted to ask you on
Yeah,
that.
so I mean, contours aside, the overall dimension of the hitting mat is a 3 by 5.
Okay.
And so we find that when you are standing on the back portion here, you do have enough room to hit driver,
Okay. Perfect.
off of this striking area. So
Awesome.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
And it comes with the same 300,000 shot guarantee, right? Because that's the whole appeal of Fiberbuilt is this is really something that could last even in commercial applications with 300,000 shots. That's going to be a
Yeah.
lot for your everyday average person at home utilizing this only on their own. So it's going to last for a long time.
Yeah, the 300,000 swing guarantee is definitely a staple of the benefits that Fiberbuilt provides. If we're not receiving an inquiry from an individual that's sharing that they have a version of, turf shock from an existing mat
Right.
on their wrist, their shoulder, their elbow, they're reaching out and saying, I'm using my golf simulator so much and my existing mat is wearing out. Do you have anything for me? And so the 300,000 swing guarantee definitely alleviates any concern with durability.
And I mean, at 329, I've seen other 5x5 mats and things that are around that price. I don't think there's any comparison, because I've tested cheaper mats before. And one of my first mats I had was you can put a real tee in it and that kind of stuff, but
Yep.
it really was not good for hitting, and you could feel the difference really easily. So I think for that price point, you don't want to go too much cheaper than that unless you're just buying the individual, fiber built piece that we talked about, the $99 one, and you already have your own stance mat. I understand that as well. But for an all-in-one setup, entry level, this is my go-to that I recommend people to most of the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, and we definitely appreciate that. And, this is a great way to get your foot in to the Fiberbuilt products without having to go to something a little bit bigger and a little bit more sophisticated.
Right.
One of the most common questions and inquiries we've received over the last few weeks is people call and they say, Mike, what's new with Fiberbuilt?
Yeah.
And so definitely look out on our website and in some information online later this spring
Okay.
for the next iteration of what Fiberbuilt's going to be offering, both in a commercial and a residential application.
A little teaser, huh?
Little teaser. No, nothing more than that available
Yeah.
to share at this time, as
Yeah.
there's some logistics and information to finalize and figure out. But we are looking forward to sharing more information when it's ready to share.
Very cool. Well, everybody's always about what's new, right? Everyone wants to see the next product, so that's cool.
Yes.
It'd be exciting to see that, and when it comes out, hopefully we'll get together and do a quick video on it down the road as well. So
Yeah, looking forward to it.
good. So tell me a little bit more about you guys, your putting greens as well. Have you seen some good feedback from the putting greens? And that's a really cool concept because a lot of people have to build their own platform, and have it kind of utilize the hitting portion and the putting portion. But with you guys, you've
Yes.
come up. You're one of the few the only one that I know of that has an all-in-one kind of concept for that, with the putting green included off the hitting mat portion.
Yeah, with the amount of interest that we have seen and received throughout the 2020 season and the beginning of the 2021 season, there is a huge demand for a hitting mat that's going to provide you with, all in one. They want to be able to have the mat that you can hit from, that you can putt from, and, utilize every club in the bag.
Yeah.
And so the combo mat systems are essentially that. You have the areas where you stand, where you strike, and where you putt.
Yeah.
And so these systems are all connected under the hood using our proprietary rubber foundation. As you can see here, you simply lay the 2x2 squares down, you pin them together with the 4 or 2-pin connectors that would be provided to you with. You lay the turf out, and you're good to go.
Yeah. Very cool. And you know what the stimp meter is on the turf?
It is a 9 out of the box.
Okay.
And we find that over time, as the turf compresses with regular use, it will speed up to a 10.
All right. Very cool, man. It's a whole cool concept. I think that's maybe my next go-to here in my setup. One of the things I want to do. So Definitely probably with a center, because I utilize Unicore here a lot in our studio.
Perfect.
I do have a SkyTrack, but like you mentioned, you can still use a SkyTrack if you don't have left-handed golfers hitting at that time. And there's a lot of ways around different things. As I'm starting to grow the channel, I'm getting more and more products. But for the most part, the hitting insert in the middle would be more ideal, I think, from a lot of setups overall.
Yeah, and one thing to make sure that when designing a golf simulator in your room, that you have enough room to accommodate a center hitting.
Yeah.
There is a number of inquiries, maybe not a number, but there have been individuals that say, for example, let's say the 10 by 10 center hitting.
Mm-hmm.
They'll reach out and say, "Hey, Mike, I'm ready to go. Let's do the 10 by 10. My room is 10 feet wide." Okay, well.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure you have enough room so that the club interacts only with the hitting surface and the ball and not the drywall.
Yes, I agree with that 100%. So make sure that kind of setup, you'd probably be better off with one that has maybe a hitting insert on either end of the mat, if you're going to utilize that kind of setup. But for smaller spaces, yeah, I totally understand that. Definitely map that out first, because you also have to accommodate for your backswing and where that club's going to be going. And yeah, I definitely understand that as well, because that's definitely something you got to kind of figure out the details of.
Yeah, and that's usually what we, internally we have those two options, either as center hitting or center stance.
Yeah.
And so, if width of the room is a concern, definitely consider the center stance options, as we do also offer the opposing turf areas opposite the striking area. Those are level with the hitting surfaces, so they are they are designed for use with the SkyTrack and with the GC2 and the quads.
Got it. Well, good, man. So exciting stuff you guys have coming out, and look forward to that teaser reveal down the road here. So you said, when should we keep an eye out for that again?
Spring 2021. Keep your eyes peeled.
Okay. Awesome. Well, Mike, as always, man, it's been a great time talking to you. Anything else that you guys would like to share, or do you think we covered everything as far as what to expect from you guys for the year coming up?
I will just end with the fact that, we are slightly backordered at this time. As the date today, we are currently shipping new orders into early March, as stated on our website shown. But we are anticipating getting out of this back order situation later in the spring as well. So we hear you, we see you. Please continue to reach out and work with us for your requirements. And, we will be getting back to you shortly. We're always happy to help.
Very cool. Yeah, and that's something we've experienced across the board. So I think that's to be expected. But as long as, the companies are working on keeping customers posted and letting them know what to expect, that really helps out with the frustration of, having to wait as well. So that's good that you guys are doing that.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, Mike, thanks again, man. I really appreciate the time you spent with us today.
Likewise, Roland.
All right, thanks again. Appreciate it.
Yeah, cheers.
All right, so thank you, Mike, again for the opportunity to speak with you in that interview. Had a really good time picking your brain on some stuff, and Mike and I talked for probably a good 45 minutes after the interview, just in general golf simulator and general questions and stuff. So I always like talking to Mike about what they foresee as far as what we'd like to see on our side of things from a customer's perspective, and some of the things that I've gotten feedback-wise on their products. And talking to people at Fiberbuilt is always a really cool experience. So I look forward to seeing what you guys have coming out in the future, and hopefully it's something pretty cool. I always like teasers. I don't mind waiting if it's a good product or something that I think is going to appeal. So hopefully we'll see what you guys have coming out here down the road, and we'll hopefully have an interview down the road when that gets released with Mike as well, so we can kind of share some of that news at that point, because I'm just as excited as everyone else to see it. So look forward to continuing to bring more info your way about Fiberbuilt. If you have any questions on any existing Fiberbuilt products, reach out to me anytime at roland@mygaragegolf.com. Look forward to answering any and all questions that you guys have. And as always, until the next time we see you, keep on golfing. Thanks again.